ASMR in the best possible timeline. Today's episode is for my very, very good friend, Maddie, who you might know as Mads ASMR. In this video, we're going to be focusing on some of Maddie's favorite triggers. So if you don't know what Maddie's favorite triggers are, you're welcome, because you're about to learn. Maddie likes to hear her name over and over again. She also really likes hand movements, which I don't really do much of. Even though I actually super like Maddie's hand movements in particular. I feel like I'm not great at them, and like other people are better at them, which is why I don't do a lot of them. If Maddie was here with me, I would definitely play with her hair. That is a pastime that we used to enjoy when we shared physical space, and part of why I wore my hair down. Also, just having a good hair day. Woke up like this, no big deal. But yeah, playing with each other's hair and like touching each other lightly is something that ASMR artists get to do when we get together, and it is like such a vibe. So in addition to liking hand movements, which she calls mine unique, which I think is code for the fact that I'm not very good at them, and liking to hear her name, Maddie likes whispers. She likes my whisper in particular. I know that because she almost falls asleep every time we do ASMR together. She also likes, and I'm gonna do this before I forget, camera brushing. Oh, this is hard. Hold on, let me do it like this. There we go. So relaxing, isn't it? Just so relaxing. Relax. Maddie. You are loved. I love you, Maddie. I love you so much. Maddie. I'm obviously Santa, and you've obviously been very good all year. She really has been. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Maddie. Relax. I love you. I love you. I love you, Maddie. Okay, I wanted to do that before I forgot. And now, before I forget this other part that I'm supposed to do, we're gonna do a little ramble about our favorite Christmas movies. So, you might not realize this, but I am somewhat of a Christmas movie connoisseur. Also, in case you're wondering, these very loud for me. Nails are inspired by Maddie. Everything silver reminds me of Maddie. I know she wears silver and gold jewelry, but a lot of her furniture, she's very into silver. So, jewelry also picked out for Maddie. Even though this is like way louder than anything she'd ever wear. I don't have a lot of silver. These are actually toe rings. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm more of a gold girl myself. But everything silver and blingy always reminds me of Maddie. So back to our favorite Christmas movies, because like I said, I'm somewhat of a Christmas movie connoisseur. It was really, really hard. We were talking, and she was like, pick your 3 favorite Christmas movies, and then she quickly came up with like 4, and was like, there's probably others. So then she was like, 3 to 5, 3 to 5. So I have memory problems, so this might not be, I might like tomorrow be like that movie. But I think I have my top 4. Here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to do them in like a countdown. So I'm going to start with number 4 and then go to my favorite. I watch every Christmas movie under the sun if I can get my hands on it. And it's a Christmas movie, I'm watching it. And this year I'm super excited because one of my exes is the lead in a Christmas movie on Lifetime called Yes Chef, and that is just like a dream come true for me. Like, I cannot wait to see somebody that I love so much be the star of a Christmas movie. So that's something I have to look forward to, and after I see it, it will probably be at least one of my favorite movies, because this human is like such a gem and such a good actor, and he's in a Christmas movie. I can't wait. But since I haven't seen that, my fourth favorite Christmas movie is, I think it's Elf. I took my nephews and my little brother to see Elf when they were little kids, and it was so good that we actually went back like 2 days later to watch it all over again. I love Elf. I love Buddy the Elf. I love that character. As someone who's like pathologically into Christmas, his enthusiasm really resonates with me. I've got more than a little Buddy the Elf in me, if I'm being totally honest. So that's number 4. Elf. Such a good movie. If you're unfamiliar, Will Ferrell is like this adopted elf, so he's like worlds taller than the rest of the elves and doesn't quite fit in. And I can't remember how he got to live in the North Pole, but then he goes to find his father, who I think lives in New York City, and like hijinks ensue. At one point he's told he like goes to a department store, and they think he works there because he's dressed up like an elf, and so they're like, you have to do this, and he's like, okay. And then they're like, Santa's coming tomorrow, and he's like, what? And he just freaks out. He's like, Santa's coming. And one of my favorite parts in the whole movie is he like makes this department store like a winter wonderland because he thinks that Santa's coming. And then the next day is like, boss, if he actually worked there, goes, I don't know who's gunning for my job. It's hilarious. I love that movie. I love that part of that movie. And I used to take my brother and my nephews to see a lot of movies when they were little, and I'm not one of those people who like loves Disney movies. Pixar movies, DreamWorks, what's the other one? Anyway, those are better. I'm not like used to like take them to these movies that I didn't actually like very much, and that's why I was so excited when we saw Elf, because it was like child appropriate and really, really, really good quality movie, I thought. So that's number 4. Oh goodness, if I forgot. There's 4. Okay, coming in hot at number 3. Number 3, my third favorite Christmas movie is a movie. It's an older movie. It has Bill Murray in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called Scrooged. Scrooged. So like past tense. And I love Bill Murray. I love everything about Bill Murray. He just seems like an absolute gem, to use one of Maddie's colloquialisms. I am wearing Bill's, but you can't see him. And this thing that also has a bell. My entire house is decked out like Buddy the Elf came. I think I'm gonna do a house tour. I don't know if that's gonna be on YouTube or Patreon. But that's coming up soon. Anywho's, to use a Maddie word, a Maddie word, Maddie. Let's see, so Scrooged is like Dickens' A Christmas Carol, but so the Scrooge character is Bill Murray, and he's a TV executive, which is fun, right? I've always wanted to work in movies ever since I was a kid, so anything that like pulls the veil back and like reveals that world, I'm so into. And so he's this cranky guy who had like not the best childhood, not the greatest parents, but was sort of raised by the TV, and so he has like a connection, like almost like a spiritual connection with television and appreciation of it, but he's very narrow-minded and focused on money, basically capitalism, and he's sort of lost his way, and he used to be in love with this gal, and that didn't work out, and now he's just a jerk. So that is Scrooged, but then he goes through like the ghost of Christmas, past, present, future, and sort of learns the errors of his ways, and then he crashes a live Christmas special that he for his network that he planned, and you're like, oh my god, is this guy gonna lose his job? He doesn't. He's fine. And it's just really cute, wholesome, fun. I mean, maybe it's wholesome. I was born in the 80s. What was considered wholesome then and now is probably different. I think it's wholesome. Scrooged. Great movie. Do you hear that? Oh, there's like ducks or something in the background. Anyway. Anywho's, so that is Scrooged, which I really, really enjoy. I don't know if Maddie's seen that because she seemed surprised by that selection, but I did tell her about that one. I did not tell her about Elf. I was like, I need to think about my favorites. And so, she doesn't know. She does know number 1 because that's my favorite movie of all time. What else? What else? Coming in hot at number 2, my second favorite Christmas movie. I actually didn't like this movie the first time I saw it. I was on a date with this guy who was like not the vibe, and it just goes to show that like the environment that you're in really sets the stage for your ability, or my ability at least, to appreciate something. So I watched it with this guy, and this is a stupid movie when I tell you that I have watched that movie probably more than once every year since, and that was about 20 years ago. So I've probably seen this movie like 30 times since then, and I absolutely love it. I love this movie. I don't know what I was thinking when I didn't like this movie, because I love it now. And that is because Love Actually is all around. It's Love Actually. I love Hugh Grant. I think Hugh Grant is like 50% of where my taste in men comes from, which is like, I like tall, slender, Caucasian men who are a little bit like charmingly befuddled. Like, that is my shit. And I've dated people who don't fall into that category, but I keep coming back to them. That's my kryptonite. Hugh Grant, 90s Hugh Grant, can get it any day, to use a Maddie phrase. I've never said that about anybody in the world. I saw a photo of Hugh Grant the other day, and he looks like someone's grandpa. It's bananas. I wouldn't even recognize him anymore. He's like a cute old man, but he's like definitely an old man. But back then, I love every Hugh Grant movie. I love him when he's a jerk in Bridget Jones's Diary. My favorite Hugh Grant movie is Notting Hill. He's delicious in that movie. I just want to like eat him. He's kind of an inappropriate prime minister in Love Actually. Love Actually is a multi-plot, so it's like there is no main character. Hugh Grant does narrate it. He was like the it guy when this movie came out, but he's really not the main character. There really is no main character, so like you get a little sliver of his life and a little sliver of his sister's life, and all these other characters that come together at this kids' Christmas concert thing. And some of them you're like, I don't even know why these two sex workers are at this Christmas concert. What is happening? But they seem to know one of the other characters, although that's never really explained, I don't think. It's weird because even though I've seen it so many times, there's so many different multi-plots that every time it kind of feels new. Maybe you need memory problems for that. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I love Actually. So that movie is such a vibe. What else? I guess we're at my favorite movie of all time, which I wish Maddie was with me. I would make her watch this because I think she said that she has. I don't know if I believe her. Because this movie is just so good, and how could you watch it and not be very opinionated about how amazing it is? It's amazing. It's a cinematic masterpiece. It's my favorite movie. It's my cousin Elijah's favorite movie. It's my cousin's ex-boyfriend's favorite movie. That's 3 people that have the same favorite movie. That's unheard of. Like, it's usually difficult for people to narrow down their favorite movie, and I feel like either they don't know or it's A Wonderful Life, because that movie is such a vibe. I love it so much. I actually only saw it for the first time a couple years ago, and nobody had talked to me about it my whole life for some reason. Everybody probably just thought I had already seen it because I watched so many Christmas movies, but it was like black and white, whatever. So I never watched it, and then I like ran out of Christmas movies a few years ago, and it's also like 2 hours long. But I finally watched it, and I was like, this is the best movie of all time. The end. It's the greatest. George Bailey for president, George Bailey for my husband, George Bailey for everything. I love George Bailey. That was another request to just like randomly repeat words. Yeah, I love George Bailey. I love Jimmy Stewart. I have a big crush on Jimmy Stewart. And it's like 90% because of that movie and 10% because he's a tall white guy, and I love that. And he's just like, his voice is very attractive to me. So Jimmy Stewart for my husband, yes please. If you don't know, they have a color version actually of It's a Wonderful Life, and it's on Amazon this year for the first time ever. I watched it in color this year. So it's like, it was shot in black and white. I don't know how they add color later. It looks amazing. You know, just like The Wizard of Oz looks great in color, even though it was not shot in color. It's from the 40s, I want to say, and yeah, it has to be post-World War II. I want to say it's 1949. Don't quote me. And Jimmy Stewart's character, like, he's just so relatable. I feel like there's a little Jimmy Stewart, or George Bailey rather, in all of us. And he's constantly like giving things up for the people that he loves. Ever since he's a little boy, he's like part of the National Geographic's Explorer, whatever, and they send him magazines, and he's like, I'm gonna go one day, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna explore the world, and he doesn't. Thing after thing after thing, opportunity and blockade and challenge come up in his world time and time again, and everybody he knows gets to go off and live these adventures, and he constantly chooses everybody he loves over him. How many people do you know like that? Like, I know so many people like that. And then when he's in a rough spot, he gets really dark and he wishes he was never born. And then a guardian angel, I think his name is Clarence, which is just like such a funny name for an angel, and shows him what it would be like if he had never been born. And it's not pretty. The whole town is in ruins. Everybody's lives are awful. And then he's like, I want to be alive again. I need to be born. You know, everybody needs me, basically. And so he goes back to being alive, and he's so happy, even though he's about to go to jail for like ever. And then the whole community comes together for him and saves the day, and it is such a vibe. And you're like, every time I watch it, I cry. It's so good. I love crying in movies. It's one of my favorite pastimes. So if you feel like happy crying, highly recommend It's a Wonderful Life. So those are my favorite Christmas movies. I will say that I have watched every Christmas movie I could get my hands on in English, and I've actually this year started branching out to foreign films, so to foreign Christmas films, and that has been such a vibe and so fun. And you know what's weird? There's one Christmas TV show, I can't remember, it's been this is several foreign films ago. I think there's an Italian version and a Norwegian version, and it's the same exact story of this lady who, like, no, it's not Italian. What is it? I don't know. Maybe Romanian. I'm not sure. But this lady, like, lies to her family and tells them she has a boyfriend, and then she tries to find a boyfriend to bring home for Christmas. And like every specific plot point is exactly the same. And you're just like, did Netflix just tell 2 different countries to make the same movie? This is so weird. Don't recommend that one, by the way, if you're thinking about watching it, because at the end they don't even tell you who she brought for Christmas, and you're like, what did I just watch? Anyway, that was a big letdown. But yeah, those are my favorite Christmas movies. And then for our last Maddie trigger, we are going to do, and she didn't request this, I just know my good friend Maddie well enough to know that the bitch loves being read to. So we're gonna read a little bit from the book that has been taking me away from YouTube. This copy is not for resale because I'm still working on it, but it's my new book out soon called Joy Now. And yeah, Maddie likes being read to. She's been read to kind of an odd amount in her life, and I know she finds it really, really comforting. So without further ado, this is chapter 17, at least in this copy. Part 3 is How to Joy, and this is the Art of Joy. So I'm just going to read the first subsection in this. And yeah, without further ado, here we go. The Art of Joy. And each chapter, don't mind these numbers, I'm going to get rid of them someday. They're just there, so I know there's the right amount of space, but anywho's, each chapter starts with a quote. So, this is not my brilliant words in the beginning. Anyway, it says, 2 men looked out from prison bars. One saw mud, the other saw stars. Dale Carnegie. And then the subheading is The Wellspring Within. Can we hope to become the one who sees stars through prison bars? Yes, I know we can, because I did. And if I did it without croissants or sunshine, you can too. I'm going to go ahead and read you the footnote, because you're probably like, what do you mean? She did it without sunshine. It says, I was gluten intolerant for several years, and like anyone with taste buds, when all else fails, croissants are enough reason to keep on trucking. I was also diagnosed with Bavaria-induced sun intolerance, at which point being exposed to the sun made me ill. Don't recommend if you can avoid it. So it says, while I wouldn't wish illness on anyone, with a few exceptions, you know who you are, ... It has taught me that my capacity for joy is an extension of an empowered state of mind, not fortunate circumstances. A big part of me would have preferred to avoid the painstaking lesson that robbed me of much of the normalcy I enjoyed taking for granted. The ability to tolerate sunlight or eat spinach, for example. Tomatoes, bananas, nuts, yogurt, bread, bacon, eggs, milk, juice, a leftover porterhouse steak, waking up on command, going to sleep before sunrise, having a menstrual cycle. You name it, it's the seemingly little things that make life normal. Despite overcoming many of those maladies, I'm not happy because my circumstances warrant it. While I can eat croissants again, and they are ecstasy incarnate, my health, wealth, community, romantic life, and career are all a hot mess. It'd be easy for me to get swept away by frustration, fear, and despair at my hot mess predicament. It'd be warranted, too. My health has been a debilitating barrier to every aspect years. For much of the last 5 years, I was asleep, ergo incapable of working. This created a chicken and egg from hell situation. By the time I learned what might cure my underlying infectious diseases, I was often bedridden and as a result hadn't worked regularly in years. Today I understand that I need a meaningful sum of money to pursue the healing modalities that address underlying infectious pathogens. To make money, I need to work, and to work, I need to be awake, on command, and cognizant. All the while, the time bomb of my deepest desires ticks softly in my aging uterus. And why? I really thought this was going to be happier when I picked it. Why am I sick today? Because the medical curriculum, CDC, FDA, insurance companies, and doctors all work for Big Pharma, and Big Pharma makes more money when people like me stay sick. Today, I can hold space for that tragedy without drowning in it, even though I live here. It's not an abstract concept for me. It's my daily experience. While it's definitely not my favorite, this sick girl curriculum has granted me a unique foundation to witness my happiness and the emotions of others. After years of theory and practice, silver lining thinking comes very naturally to me now. That is the heart of what I'm trying to share with you. It's made all the difference in my life, and I believe wholeheartedly that the wellspring within can be learned, shared, and cultivated. So that was more of a bummer than I thought it was going to be, I'm not even going to lie, but it's the beginning of the chapter of The Art of Joy, and that whole section is about dealing with, like, contending with things that are less than delightful while looking for ways to be delighted. So I should not have been surprised that there was some delight and some not so delightful things in there. And that concludes our Christmas collab for Maddie. I hope you have enjoyed this whisper ramble and that it has given you a moment of relaxation, because I know that's what Maddie goes to videos like this for. And as always, I want to thank you for sharing your best possible timeline with me and for being such an important, special, and beloved part of mine. I do intend to come to YouTube in a more meaningful way as soon as this book is done. And in the meantime, if you're looking for content from me, you can find me on Patreon for only $3 a month. I usually post one